Hey, how are y'all doing out there? Coming at you from Hog Shooter Hot Rods, and the video I want to do today is kind of a comparison video. Been watching some Project Farm, and man, that guy compares everything. It's just awesome, the amount of detail that he puts into his things, and he gives you real results. I feel like tries very hard to make them as legitimate as possible, equal comparisons between each one. So if I can succeed in half that, I'd be really happy. So what I'm going to do this evening is I've got some paint guns. I've got an Hvlp primer gun that is just solely devoted to primer. This is a SATA KLC. I'm going to compare that with Harbor Freight's Hvlp gun, and this one has a 1.4 millimeter tip. This is a 1.7, so I don't feel like it's going to be 100% fair, but this is a devoted primer gun. That's what I'm going to test, so I want to just, for my own, see how she does. Then I've got a SATA NR2000 Hvlp gun, and this one's equipped with a similar 1.4. All three of these are Hvlp, so we'll be operating them under those pressure requirements. We're also going to use the 3M PPS cups that are disposable, but they are really handy. If you get a spray gun, it's kind of worth it to get them. You've got an adapter that typically the paint store will give you, and then you have the cups that snap on or twist onto the top of there. So we'll be able just to switch that cup between all three guns, be using the same exact primer, and when we're spraying, we're not going to give it a lot of dry time, so it'll come out of them all the same. I even use the primer gun very last because it's got bigger orifices. It should naturally put more material on and have a wider fan with the thicker material. I also have an X-Tech mill gauge here, and this mill gauge will mill on mild steel or aluminum panels. It's really nice, more of a professional kind of a tool. You may not need one, just painting one car once in a while. If you're going to go out and buy a bunch of cars, this is super accurate. It's almost too accurate for just looking for something as simple as body filler or those kind of things. So at any rate, comparison. Harbor Freight versus SATA, and then the primer gun just thrown in with, let's do just one nice even coat across it and see what that comparison is. That way we don't have the variations of anything else. So let's spray just one coat, and we'll figure that out. I should have three panels just like this that we can use, or I can cut this one into a third, something like that, one coat, and see what kind of film thickness we get out of each gun with one coat. just go ahead and spray this full panel with one coat. Got the tack rag, gonna tack it off. So this gun is only sprayed about 6 different times up to this point. It has sprayed the material before. So let's see how we did here. Okay, well, it looked good. Started off kind of light, and then I kind of started slowing down as I got up to the top of it. Still pretty grainy, but that's just one coat, okay? So when we're putting this on, we generally try to put 3 wet coats on. So that was just the first one, but did not look like it put a lot of material on there. So I'm going to take this off, this little disposable cup here, clean my spray gun, and then I'll put the disposable cup on the next gun and we'll try it out. Alright, so this time around we're going to go with the SATA KLC gun, and same deal, one coat. Alright, so right off the bat you can see it's still tons of texture because it's primer, and I'm spraying this with I'm spraying it with extremely low air pressure because I'm out here in my shop, and I'm priming it right here beside my four-wheeler. So alright, so I'm gonna clean this gun and then we'll do the other half of the panel after this sets up, just for a hot minute. Alright, so now I've got the SATA NR2000, and I just folded the paper up on this panel, folded the paper in half so that we could spray here. So, it's kind of thin. We'll just see. So the Spies primer is an extremely high solids primer. It takes a big gun to shoot. The tech sheet says that it needs to be a 1.7 to 1.9, and we're trying to push it out of a 1.4. This just further reinforces the fact that you really should not use your paint gun as a primer gun. If you're spraying high quality products, it's not going to put it out as thick. But we're going to wait, give this plenty of dry time, and then we're going to come back and mill check it. Alright, so I'll catch you on the next one. That was funny. So I have an aluminum panel sitting on top of a steel shelf, and the mill gauge is reading through the aluminum down to the steel. So hang on just a second and I'll grab a piece of wood and put under here so we're not getting such crazy readings. Alright, now I've got it back to my aluminum panels are on a 3/4 inch thick piece of wood, so the mill gauge should not be able to read through the aluminum panel to the steel that's down below. I'm trying to get this thing in tight enough that you can actually see the the screen of the mill gauge when it takes a reading. Okay, so there's a reading for the SATA KLC with a 1.7 millimeter tip. And remember, this is one coat is all it is. So with one coat applied there, we have almost 1 3/4 mil of material landing on the surface. So to do this right, we really need to take an average. So 1.7, 1.2, 1.5. So our average is probably around 1.5. All right, so now the Harbor Freight gun versus the SATA gun. So 0.782, 0.973, 1.054. That's not too bad for the SATA gun, considering we're just spraying one coat. It's not even soaking wet on there because the gun's not capable of putting out that much material to make it soaking wet. So let's try the NR2000 now. All right, so just slightly over 1 mil for the NR2000. So it's pretty safe to say that if you're going to spray primer, a devoted primer gun is definitely going to help you out. If you're going to spray paint, a primer gun is not good for that. So after doing this, I would say we need 2 guns. I try to post some links for some different sites that sell stuff that I would call professional quality paint equipment. But really, if you're going to spend the money to buy the material to paint a car, you should use the best equipment you can afford to spray it with. Could you paint a car with a Harbor Freight gun? Probably so, but you're going to spend a bunch of time working harder than you need to get the vehicle painted. So the old saying goes, if you buy cheap tools, you get cheap tools. So just take that to heart and kind of look at some of the other options you got out there. I know Kevin Teets has some awesome videos on the Eastwood channel, or eastwood.com. They sell a lot of restoration stuff. They have some cheaper spray guns out there. The only issues that I have with a cheap spray gun is like the longevity, how long it's going to last. If you guys aren't planning on doing this for a career, then hey, it may just be just fine to paint a few little projects like that.